for coming again, night 2 of VBS in the rain. Well done. Well done. Very great job. So who are we studying about this VBS? Can anyone raise their hand and tell me? Everly, who are we studying? Daniel, that's right. And there's 3 stories. Tell me one of the stories we heard about. Who knows it? Who knows? What was one of the stories you heard about? The fiery furnace. Very good. That's one of them. What did you hear about? The lion's den. Very good. And then there's one more. What did you hear, James? Didn't eat the king's food. Very good. Very great job. All right, so tonight I heard by popular demand we're bringing back another song we sang last night. So we'll see if y'all can figure out what that is. But just a couple of notes here. We do have Vacation Bible School again tomorrow, except it's starting at 10 a.m. and we'll be right here in the auditorium. And then following VBS at about 11:30, we're going to meet at the Trussville Mall and kind of have some fellowship. Make sure you bring something to eat, some chairs or some fun games to play, but we'll fellowship after that. We'll provide some more details on that tomorrow. If you don't know where it is, don't worry about it. We'll have a map out tomorrow, but we would love for you to come out and fellowship with all of us. All right, so the first song we're going to sing tonight. Do y'all remember this? Show me wrapped up. Can y'all show me wrapped up? Can you show me tied up? Can you show me tangled up? Can you show me wrapped up? Can you show me tangled up? Can you show me tied up? All right, well, y'all got it. I love it. I love it. All right. So let's sing it together. Let's all sing out loud. I'm all wrapped up, I'm all tied up, I'm all tangled up in Jesus. I'm all wrapped up, I'm all tied up, I'm all tangled up in God. I'm all wrapped up, I'm all tied up, I'm all tangled up in Jesus. I'm all wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. Very good. Excellent. Y'all think we can go a little faster? I'm all wrapped up, I'm all tied up, I'm all tangled up in Jesus. I'm all wrapped up, I'm all tied up, I'm all tangled up in God. I'm all wrapped up, I'm all tied up, I'm all tangled up in Jesus. I'm all wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. Excellent. Excellent job. And that's right. We always want to be wrapped up and tied up in Jesus and in God. And, you know, let's keep the songs going, and I want everyone to stand up. This next song requires us all to stand up. Now, let me see y'all march. Can I see some marching? Right? We're going to be infantry. Can I see y'all ride on the cavalry? Let me see ride on the cavalry. Sorry, I'm a lot shorter than y'all. Can I also see shoot the artillery? Let me see it. And then can I see flying over the enemy? All right. So do y'all know this song? Okay, got it. All right, let's sing it. I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never fly over the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never fly over the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! Excellent. Y'all go ahead and sit back down. Very good job. Very good job. Well, I think we should roll on into another song. What do y'all think? Can I see a little rolling on to the next song? Can y'all do a little rolling right here? Have y'all ever heard about rolling the gospel chariot? And when we see a brother and sister, we stop and pick them up. But we're not gonna tag along behind, are we? And when we see the devil, what are we gonna do? Roll right over him. We're gonna go really fast. All right. All right. So let's sing out loud. Roll the gospel chariot along. Roll the gospel chariot along. Roll the gospel Excellent job, everyone. Excellent job. All right, so tonight we're all going to be hearing a different story, going into a different classroom, and we want to listen out for that. And why is that? Why do we want to listen up? What are we going to come back out here and try and guess? Yeah, the mystery box. So listen to that story, see if you can get that clue there, right? All right, so for everyone in here, the adults will stay in here for about 40 minutes. The kids will go back to their classroom for that time. And then we'll all come back out here. We'll do a mystery box. We'll guess how many people came tonight. Does anyone remember how many people came last night? How many, Elijah? 113. Very good. All right. So we're first going to start with the older kids to go first, and then we'll call the different grades. So the teens, y'all go ahead and head back to class. All right. My middle school kids, you go ahead and go back to class. Looks like y'all have the King's table tonight. Let's go to the next class. Y'all have got the Lions Den tonight. All right, Miss Karen's class. Y'all got the Fiery Furnace. All right, Miss Holly's class. Cool kids. Y'all have a great class, okay? Listen and sing loud. I want you to be out here.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Brother Lord? It's good to have everybody here. Okay, we're going to wrap up. I can't do tied up. My arms won't do that. But we're going to talk tonight about the fiery furnace, chapter 3. I don't have any slides. I apologize. I've got to learn how to do that, so that's just me, so I apologize. But if you got a Bible, open it up to chapter 3, because that's where we're going to start. Mark got us started last night. Excellently did a great job, and we talked about integrity. And I never had looked at it from that point, so I really enjoyed that. Tonight, we're going to add something to the integrity. And that's where I'm going to start and end the class the same way, I think, a little bit. What's the lessons that you can learn from the fiery furnace? There's one glaring lesson to learn. But what are some lessons we can learn from chapter 3 in Daniel? God takes care of his own. Do not compromise. That's tied into what's the main moral of the story. Oh, Mark's counting people. I'm sorry. I do this. I kept waiting for you to say so. I'm sorry. Okay, God's in control. What's the main lesson to learn from this? There's one glaring message in this. What is it? Come on, we know this. So what? Trusting God or something else. At least it was for me. Amen. Thank you very much. Obey God rather than men. It's in verses 16 and 17. We're going to read tonight. That's the thrust of this. Okay? Some mention we're going to talk about, okay, what else is, there's another important thing here. But that's the main lesson right there. Faith. You got to have faith. Is it possible to please God without faith? Come on, wake up. Okay? All right? I can talk a sermon if you want me to do a sermon. It's a lot more funner if y'all say something, okay? All right. God's in control, faith, and then obey God rather than men. That's the number one lesson to learn from this verse, chapter. Okay. Okay. When were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego taken into captivity? Don't say nothing. Y'all remember that from last night? Oh. Hey, all right. See? 605. So, as Mark talked last night, we think the chapter that he talked about, chapter 1, was somewhere 605, 600. We don't know when this happened. Chapter 2, does anybody know what happened in chapter 2? He interpreted the dream. Nebuchadnezzar had the dream, and some think that simply because what we're going to talk about, the image, that it's shortly thereafter. But we're not sure. The only really correct answer is we don't know for sure. But some think it's shortly after chapter 2. So if it's shortly after chapter 2, how old are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego going to be? Probably teenagers. 20. Okay? But I also read that it could have been as much as 20 years later. So we don't know. That's the correct answer, the only correct answer. Speculating, and they could have been anywhere from 18 years old to, let's say, 35 years old. Okay? So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about. The only thing that we don't know, we do know for sure. Okay, if you're in Daniel 3, go back to chapter 2. Go back to chapter 2, and I'm going to read verses 48 and 49. Then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many great gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat at the gate of the king. Some of your versions may say king's court, royal court. Remember that, but we're going to mention that in just a minute. Okay, verses 1, we're going to do verse 1, okay. We're not sure of the time frame. Okay, he makes this image out of gold. Is it all gold? If it's all gold, that's a lot of gold. It could be also a lot like the temple and stuff like that. It could have been built and overlaid with gold. But either way, there's this gold image standing in the way. Very noticeable. How tall is it? How many? 60 cubits. How big is 60 cubits? 90 feet. Yeah, you're looking at the width, yeah. It's 90 feet tall, 9 feet wide. Okay? What's the tallest building in Trussville? What's 90 feet? 90 feet is about 9 stories. So a 9-story image has been built. So I'm trying to think of Trussville. Isn't that new building, the new administrative building, like 3 stories? Down by the Shell station, wherever it is, give or take 3. Okay? That's a third of how tall this thing is. Okay? It's going to be weird looking if the statue is 90 feet tall and it's only 9 feet wide, because it would be disproportional. They were saying he could have short arms, short chest. So they think the 90 feet may include a pedestal. Okay? And to give you an idea, the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, just the statue, just the lady, is 151 feet tall. The pedestal that the lady stands on that we don't ever notice is 154 feet. So the pedestal and the statue are about the same height. It's 300 feet tall. Okay? Now, closer to us, that we can make a picture in our heads, Vulcan. Vulcan, just the statue, not the pedestal, just the statue is 56 feet tall. The pedestal is 123 feet, so it's 179 feet tall. So here again, so that'd be what, 17 stories? Statue of Liberty, maybe 30 stories. This is going to be about 9 stories. So that's why they think there may be a pedestal and then a statue of this. What's the image made of? Or what is it made to look like? We don't know. There's an argument. We're not told what it looks like. But in verse 14, we'll get to in a minute, it may mean Nebuchadnezzar's god, Baal or Marduk. And if you study the names that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they all sort of relate. Their first names, was it Mishael and all that, is son of God, or not son of God, but something of God. It's related to the Hebrew God. And these names are related to the God of the Babylons. Okay? Perfect. If you've been to Knock on the Fall. Especially if the water's flowing, you really get a good idea. It's been so long since I played baseball, I can't remember. Yeah, all you baseball, all you Braves fans, from first to second is 90 feet. The image, but more than likely, the image is not of Nebuchadnezzar himself, but it's of his god, Baal or Marduk. It mentions it's built in the plain of Dura. Where's Dura? There's only one correct answer. We don't know. It's somewhere outside the city. One thing I read that some guy thinks they had found the pedestal, not the statue, but the pedestal, and it was about 16 miles south of the city, or outside the walls. Okay, I'm going to use that. I'm going to pretend that it's 16 miles south of the city, but we really don't know. But you go from here to Center Point. Here to Center Point, 16 miles. Here to Palmerdale, here to Argo, and here to Leeds. Give or take 16 miles. So it kind of gives you the idea of if Trussville is the city, then we're going to go out here, and that's where the statue was built. Okay, verses 2 through 3. He calls all the head honchos. He calls them all in. And please forgive me, but I like to relate it to today. So the senators are called, the representatives are called, the governors are called, the mayors are called, the chief of police are called, Supreme Court's called, okay? He calls all the head honchos. All the head honchos come in. Verse 20, we're going to learn that there's some army people there. So he's got some army there. So he calls all the head honchos, all the leaders. They go they go to Center Point, they go to Argo, they go to Leeds, and to see this statue. Okay, verses 4 through 7, it mentions a herald, a speaker, what do they call it nowadays? Hype man, okay, gets up, okay, he's going to make this announcement. He says, when you hear these musical instruments, I want you all to bow down to this 9-story statue, okay? If you don't, then I'm going to throw you in the fiery furnace, okay? Why is there a fiery furnace 16 miles south of downtown? Never thought about this. Why is there a fiery furnace out in the middle of the plains 16 miles south of the city?
Fiery furnace was used to make all weaponry.
It wasn't make the weaponry, but how tall is this thing? 90 feet. It's 9 stories. Okay. How did they make the metal? Did they make it in the city and haul it back down? No. The fiery furnace is there because it helped build this 9-story image. So you got this 9-story image. That's why the fiery furnace is there. Okay. Okay. I know y'all are real talkers, so we're going to let's talk politics. Now we're going to talk politics. Ain't nothing like coming to church, getting angry, getting mad, and cussing at each other. Okay. We're going to talk politics. I'm going to take the last 4 administrations. There's 2 on each side. Pick your poison. Whatever party, think of all the evil and the bad things that other parties do. And if you're in the other party, think of all the evil and the bad things that other parties do. If you're an independent, think of what both the parties, the evil and the bad things they've done. What Republican or what Democrat built a 9-story statue, forced the people out to it, forced you and me out to it, and said, when you hear the Bee Gees staying alive, I want you to bow down to it. Here's one lesson I've learned. Perspective. Got a lot of things wrong in the country, got a lot of things wrong in the world. But there's far more better things about this country, far more better things about the world. But I don't have a government that's making me bow down and worship a false god. And that's exactly what's going on right here. So that, I just wanted to point that because that hit me. Because I have a problem, I sit there and I get mad, I get angry, I go this. We are here tonight on our own free will. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. So here again, perspective on things in life. Okay, verses 8 through 12, the music plays, everybody bows down. The King James Version uses the word Chaldeans, Babylonians. I don't know if there's any other verses of different. Everybody bows down. Okay, verse 8, I think it says it accused the Jews. You had other heads of state, they accused the Jews. Okay, maliciously. The meaning, ate the pieces of. Okay? Ate the pieces of, so they chewed them out. Okay? On a side note, a weird thing, how did they know they didn't bow down? How do you know when somebody don't do? If we all bow our heads in prayer and you see, hey, Bo didn't bow his head, how do you know I didn't bow my head? You didn't bow your head. So I just thought it was kind of amusing that these guys say, hey, they didn't bow, King. But here again, another lesson to learn, there's nothing new under the sun. These are other politicians. That's what we all got gathered here, ain't it? We got all these heads of state and all this. We got all these politicians. And when they ate the pieces, this is politics. Okay? They go to them, and did they say, "O King, live forever"? These Jews didn't bow down. What do you notice? Verse 12. What do they say? Am I my note wrong? Now, the thing I'm trying to point out is they call these guys by name. They didn't say those Jews or those three guys. They said Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So here again, I'm reading into it, but it sounds like politics to me. Because remember, what are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Are they Babylonians? Are they Chaldeans? They're Jews. Okay? So how would you like to have a Jew running your country when you're in Babylon? So anyway, here again, reading a little made me much into it, but they maliciously accused them. Okay, what is very noticeable about verse 12? Daniel ain't there. What's the name of this book? Where's Daniel? That's the correct answer. There's only one correct answer. We don't know. We're not told. Okay? But that's the reason why I read when you go back into chapter 2, verses 48 and 49. What's the last part of verse 49 say? First of all, where's Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? No, specifically, though, where does it say? Verse 49. Okay, they're in the provinces. Where's Daniel? He's in the king's court, king's palace. Okay? Pure speculation. Pure speculation. If everybody's down here, who's running the government? So Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in my mind, they're governors. Okay? They're governors of states. Daniel's in Washington, D.C. Okay? So they all leave Washington, D.C., and he's got everybody there. Okay? So somebody's got to stay home and pure speculation. Pure speculation. But there's a reason why Daniel... Let me answer this. If Daniel was there, would he have bowed down to the image? Okay, why not? Why do you say so? Don't we have the food we talked about last night? The lion's den that Mark's going to talk about tomorrow? We've got examples to prove that Daniel wouldn't bow down. Why Daniel's not here, we don't know. We're not told. Okay. Okay, verses 13 through 15. Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is a strange dude. He's hard to figure out sometimes. But it says what he comes up, he's raged and furious. Okay? He's sort of hot-headed. In chapter 2, in the image, okay, what was he going to do to the wise men if they couldn't interpret his dream? Kill him. He seems to make these real snap decisions. If you don't answer me, I'm going to kill you. And not only am I going to kill you, I'm going to kill your family. Okay? So here, Nebuchadnezzar gets mad, and I'm stressing this because I hope to have a point later on. Okay, he's mad, he's upset. And then, but, he's mad, but he's going to give him a second chance. He's going to give him a second chance. Okay? He gives him a second chance, and then in verse 15, the last part of 15, here again, don't know, pure speculation, but we don't know the tone that he's doing this. Okay? Here's the King James Version, the very last part of verse 15. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Okay? Is he making fun of God? Is he challenging God? You know, your God cannot deliver you from this fiery furnace. Is he saying, or is he just asking a question? What God can protect you from this? Okay? But here again, is he accusing God? Is he challenging God? Is he questioning this God? Because Nebuchadnezzar learned something from this, but he doesn't learn the most important lesson. Yes, sir.
Why do you give him another chance?
Don't know. And what you get now, we're going to touch on when he gets mad again. But he's not so mad. If I'm mad at you, I ain't giving you a second chance. But maybe he's more upset, or does he remember him? I don't know. That's an excellent question.
Well, the thing that came to my mind was the fact that he appointed them as governors, so it makes him look bad. You know, his appointment, I've appointed these guys, and yet they're not going to do what I asked them to do. So I'm going to give him another chance,
Why he gives him another chance? Excellent question. Not sure. Because he sort of like I said, he talks about the God. Is that the next part? Let me get to the next part because I know I want to, because we're going to mention this. Very good point. Is it true? Is it true? He may have known the accusers. And he said, well, he may have known the reason why they wanted to mention this. But if you got an old-fashioned Bible or however you do it on your computer or your phone, verses 16 and 17. Okay, I'm going to give you another chance. And your God is not going to deliver. There is not a God that can deliver you. Verse 15. Okay, verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Okay, give me another version there. We are not careful to answer thee in this matter. We don't need to give you an answer? Yes, ma'am? We have no need to answer you. No need to defend, I like that. Okay? All right. Verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. That's the message of this chapter right there. Okay. I thought about the passage that Jesus says, don't worry about those who can kill the body. Do fear those that can kill both body and soul. And I think Mark asked a question that we've got to ask ourselves, how would we react? But also, too, these guys are anywhere probably 18 to, let's say 40 years old. Okay. They didn't say, King, give us a few minutes and let us discuss. And they didn't ask, what do you think, God? Talking among themselves, do you think God would be okay if we just bow one knee? You know, because we can do a lot of good where we're at. We can do a lot of good for God's people. Okay, you know? But also, too, we're not told, are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, are they shaking? Are they scared? Are they confident? Did the angel that's fixing to save them from the fiery furnace tell them before? That's going a long way there. What's their condition right now? Ma'am? When you read it, they sound... They didn't discuss it. They didn't have to think about it. You know, pretty... But, okay, do you believe that Jesus is the Son of God? Say it again and I'm going to kill you. Very good. But that's the point we're at right now, okay? And I'm hoping that I would say yes. But and we're not told. And it's just pure speculation. But these are young men. How would they, what's their, I don't know, what's their demeanor? When you read it, it sounds like, okay, real calm, no king. And it may be that way. I don't know. But here again, remember, these are human beings. Okay? God didn't just create them special, and they've got a special knowledge, and they're special people. Okay? These are human beings. This is me and you. Okay? But their answer is wonderful, and like I said, 16, 17, and 18, that's the moral, that's the heart of this chapter. Okay. Verses 19 through 23. Okay, coming back to what you were saying, Buzz. Okay. Earlier, it says that Nebuchadnezzar was mad, furious, whatever you say. Okay, this one says he's furious, but what else does it say? Give me some other versions. I know what King James Version says. Verse 19, I think it is.
Filled with fury,
Okay, keep going. What's the next part?
and the expression of his face was changed.
Okay, King James says his visage changed. Okay? Okay, now, if you're married in here, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. I know when Jackie is mad at me. She stays mad at me for good reason about half the time. Okay? But I really know when Jackie is really mad with me. Okay? You got a spouse, you know they're mad. But you know when they're really mad. I know when I've crossed the line. Okay? Now, Nebuchadnezzar's mad earlier, right? But he gave him a second chance. Okay, now his visage changed. Have you ever been so angry that your eyes focus? You get blood red? You can visually see it in somebody when they're really, really mad. This is where Nebuchadnezzar's at this time. Okay? I want you to heat up the furnace. I think even one of the children said last night 7 times. Yeah, I think it was one of the kids said something. But anyway, they're going to heat it up even hotter. Okay. Heat that baby up. Okay. Now, this is what I was talking about, you know, it mentions in verses, 3 and 4, who were there. Okay. The King James Version in verse 22, it says mighty men. He got some mighty men of his army. So it says, the king was urgent, the furnace exceeding hot flame, verse 21. 20. Verse 20. King James Version, men that were in his army. Mighty men that were in his army. Is that what everybody's version? Pardon? Valiant warriors. So we got some army guys there too, some warriors there too, okay? So it doesn't mention them in the previous ones, but anyway. Okay. Why did he get the mighty men to do it? Do you think Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are trying to run at this point? He carried them.
Well, they probably would, they might when they get close to that fire.
Could be. But it's show of force. Okay. Remember this because this is the mighty men. Okay, so these are the warriors, the mighty warriors. Okay. Do that, and I'm thinking, you know, I've never been in the military, but I know what we got special forces. Was it the Rangers or in the Army? Don't hold me. Anybody in the military? I don't know. Green Beret, is it But anyway, special forces, okay. Those guys who really, really are serious, okay. This is the guys, maybe what has tied them up and done that, okay. But also, too, what happens to these mighty warriors? Did they get in the fire? These mighty men died before they even got and threw them in the fire, okay? Or they died as they were throwing them into the fire, okay? So I'm just thinking in my head, okay, if I'm standing here and I see, Jim, and Jim, I know in Special Forces, and this guy's in good shape, and I know he can run, 500 miles, and I see him die before he even throws them in. Whoa, okay, all right. So visually, for all those who are seeing this happen, not just about what's happened, that definitely, but also too, I know Jim, I knew him. Okay, verses 24 and 25. This furnace, I don't know, they described it several ways, but it could maybe have looked like a milk bottle maybe. And they said maybe you put the wood or however the ingredients to stoke the fire you could pour in the top. But somehow this opening for this furnace must have been pretty wide. And it must have been a pretty good sized furnace, because what are they doing when they get thrown in the fire? They're walking around. Okay, they're not in there just all huddled on top of each other. They're physically walking around. Okay, all right. Nebuchadnezzar jumps up and says, "Hey, wait a minute, didn't we throw 3 guys in?" He said, "I see 4. Okay, the King James Version, what verse am I in? Verse 25. The King James Version says, "I see the 4th, and the 4th is in the form of the 4th is like the Son of God," and it's capitalized. Okay, what do y'all's other versions say? Okay. I like the other version. Love King James, I grew up on it. There's a reason why.
This is a son.
Son of the gods. And we're going to stress this in just a minute in the following verses. This is not Jesus. Nebuchadnezzar might have been a very smart man, but he was not expecting a Messiah. He does not know about the coming of Jesus, the Son of God. I think the Son of the gods is a better interpretation, better translation. Okay. We see, and here again, you got to remember, you got the governors and the mayors and the police chief and the army. They're all seeing this too. Okay. Okay, and they got thrown in, and I think the King James, well, it's in all versions, it tells you what they were wearing. It goes into pretty good detail about what they were, they weren't stripped naked and thrown in the fire. They were just bound up, chucked in the fire. Okay, what is it, verse 21, coats, their hosen, their hats, other garments were cast in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Okay. Okay, then we come down. We're going to come down, let's see, verse 26 to 27. Nebuchadnezzar, here again, this fire is really, really hot, so Nebuchadnezzar can't get too close to it. But he does call in, and they hear him, and he says, "Come on out." I guess, what would you think if you just saw 3 men thrown into a fiery furnace and they walk out? He saw 4, but 3 walk out. 3 walk out. And here again, reading between the lines, are they still roped up and bound?
It said they were unbound.
Okay, thank you. All right, okay. All right, so the rope's burnt. Did anything else burn? And in my weird mind, they don't even smell like smoke. You ever been around a fire? You're going to smell like smoke. They don't even smell like smoke. So it's amazing they came out, but nothing is damaged. They're still dressed exactly the same. The ropes are gone, but they don't even smell like fire. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, good point. Yeah, verse 28. Above it says the Son of God in King James, but even in King James, in verse 28, he says an angel. So here again, I think the Son of the gods is a better reading. But he does say that. He mentions angel in verse 28. Okay. This is what I was saying about Nebuchadnezzar. It's kind of hard to kind of pinpoint this dude. He gets mad. He makes rash judgments. I'm going to kill everybody. I'm going to do this. And he told him here, if you don't, I'm going to chuck you in the fire furnace, okay? This is the same guy that just, I don't know, what, 10, 15, 30 minutes ago was furious with his guys, so mad that his body language changed. And he comes out, and then what does he say? Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yes, ma'am.
I think maybe it might not be too far of a stretch to suggest that Nebuchadnezzar was probably a deeply religious man, and his fury at them was part of his fervor in building this entire idol for everyone to bow down to in the first place. Because, I mean, he so quickly turned and said, obviously there's a God that did this. And so, I mean, I think maybe his rage could have been induced by the fact that he's just deeply religious.
Deeply religious, and that would explain that maybe the image is more in the image of his God. Very good. Because Nebuchadnezzar, as mad as he was, and sometimes as hot as he is, he realizes, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This is the same guy in verse 15 that says, who is that God that should deliver you out of my hands? So this guy, he doesn't get the full picture, but he does get the picture, okay? So he says, blessed be the God, okay? And this God had an angel, and he sent his angel down here, okay? And he delivered you, okay. Let's see, I want him to change the key word. Talks about this angel yielded your bodies to protect you from the fire. And who could do this except their own God? Okay. Here again, Nebuchadnezzar. This is not a hothead decision, but when he makes his mind up, it's pretty drastic. Therefore, I'll make a decree, verse 29, that every people, nation, and language which speak anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, okay, shall be put in prison, shall walk 5 miles, shall be bound and gagged and waterboarded. No. Shall be cut in pieces. Their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver from this sort. So here again, this is that flip side of Nebuchadnezzar. It's not just if you say anything against their God, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to cut you up in pieces, I'm going to kill your family, I'm going to make your house a dunghill, I'm going to put all the sewage on you. He goes overboard. He really does. But he does recognize the power of their God. That's where he sort of misses the boat. Because, again, the verse at the end of 29, because there is no other God. There is no other God. He still believes in Marduk and his God, and the other gods of other nations, but y'all's God, man, he's serious. Okay, so he doesn't quite get the big picture. Okay. And then verse 30, promoted, then the king promoted. Any other versions?
Made prosperous.
Made prosperous. That's more of probably a better, made prosperous. Okay, now, starting this whole process, go back, where are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? They're in the provinces, the satraps. Okay, they're leaders already. Okay, does he make them higher? He makes them prosper more. Okay, in the province of Babylon. So, any questions? Any comments? Yes, ma'am. Would you say that he's a politician? No, Nebuchadnezzar's a strange dude, because if you studied the history, he seemed to be a good military man, military mind. Yes, sir.
I think it shows that the idea that power corrupts. He got realigned right here, but then he goes back to being King Nebuchadnezzar, and we don't study it in this weekend, but in a few verses, he's going to be out eating grass.
That's right. That's right. Good point. Good point.
And that still doesn't completely realign.
Yeah,
It does for a bit.
Yeah.
But then that power gets back.
Yeah. He admits that y'all's God is a powerful God, but he's not the God. Okay. never gets over it, seems to get over that hump. Okay, what are the lessons we've learned? God's in control. Okay, because why is Nebuchadnezzar there? Because God put him there. Okay. Faith, the faith of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, unbelievable. Unbelievable. But the heart of the matter is, no matter what anybody says, obey God's word over man's. Okay, before the bell rings again, everybody turn to Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11. We know this is the faith chapter. It's got a lot of names: Abraham, Moses, David. Is David mentioned? Isaac, Joseph, Moses. No, I take that back. David's not mentioned. We got Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. Okay, Moses. We know about all these names. Okay, go to verse. Yeah, okay, let's start with verse 32. And what shall I say more? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, of Barak, of Samson, of Jephthah, of David, of Samuel, or of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to faith armies. So Shadrach, Meshach, and even Daniel are mentioned in a way in Hebrews chapter 11, for the Faith Hall of Fame. But they're mentioned there in quenching the fire anyway, and then Mark's going to talk about stopping the mouths of lions. Okay, perfect time. Any comments?
Another thing about Nebuchadnezzar, he's the one that had the dream about the first statue, the gold, silver, bronze. Told what's going to happen. Said, the empire's going to fall.
Yeah.
He didn't worry about it.
Thank you very much. I deserve it sometimes, but undoubtedly I've got too long
All right. So, to talk, right, what do we have to do? If I'm going to call on you, what do you got to do? Be really quiet and have your hand up, right? So y'all all show me. Really quiet. Hold your hand up. Raise your hand if you had a great class tonight. Raise your hand if you had Nice. Very cool. Raise your hand if you're excited for the mystery box. Hands are still up. Keep your hand up if you told your teacher and helper thank you yesterday. Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, but you'll remember tonight, right? All right, so we had 3 different stories. Who did the King's Table tonight? All right, who wants to tell me something from the King's Table? You got it, Coleman. Yeah, right. Land they didn't know. Right? Am I going to stick out and do what's right by God, or should I try and fit it with everybody else? What else did you learn about, Janie? Very faithful to God. What else? Yeah, it looked much better than the people ate the King's food. We also had the fiery furnace tonight. Charlie, tell me about the fiery furnace. Yeah, they didn't smell like smoke when they came out. Sam, tell me about the fiery furnace. It was so hot, wasn't it? Glad y'all didn't burn up. What'd you hear about the fiery furnace, Millie? Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Very good. And what did you learn tonight? They didn't die. Who protected them? God, that's right. And then we had one more story tonight, and it was the lion's den. All right, Stone, tell me about the lion's den. Okay, never mind. No worries, no worries. I think you got it tomorrow night, though. You got it tomorrow, right? What about the fiery furnace? Okay. That's right. They looked much better. All right, Logan, tell me about the lion's den. Yeah, that's right. He was consistent. Yeah, and he was sad because he loved Daniel. What else, Gaines? That's right. Yep, that's right. They were thrown into the lion's den. So that's a lesson to never tell about it or something. No. All right, so we've got the mystery box here. All right, I got to see you sitting down, hands up. Even if you're stretching as high as you can, it's probably not going to increase your chances of me picking on you, but we'll see. All right, so the first clue tonight. All right, hold on, actually, real quick. Can you go back? All right, so we already have some guesses, it sounds like. Do we already have some guesses? We do? All right, let's go back here. What do you think it is? $122, okay. We're missing an object, but that would be a really cool object in there. Come back to that, though. All right, Malachi, what do you think it is? No, okay. Mystery box. All right. So let me give the first clue. We'll go to the first clue here. I have two ends and no beginning. I have two ends and no beginning. Is it Natalie? Is that right? Okay, what do you think, Natalie? A circle. Good guess. That totally fits. Clue. All right. Maple, what do you think? Never mind. Okay. What do you think? What's your name, buddy? Lucas, what do you think? A circle? That's a good guess. Everett, what do you think? What do you think it is, Everett? A triangle? All right, I'll give you a hint. It's not a shape. All right. Everly, what do you think it is? A two-edged sword. Ooh, that's a good one, but that's not it. All right, let's go to the next clue. People fight wars with me. People fight wars with me. What do you think, James? A gun? Okay, that's true. Levi, I know better than to call on you. You got me the second clue last night. What do you think, Mia? A sword? Good guess. Gaines, what do you think? A nuclear bomb? All right. Something to do with the stories that we're studying, right? All right, so the next one. Listen to this one. I can lift more weight than a strong man. I can lift more weight than a strong man. What do you think, Sarah Grace? A shield? Not a shield. What do you think, Lucas? A what? A hook? Oh, the Hulk? Oh, not the Hulk. All right. What do you think, Logan? Ooh, close. Fishing rod, very close. What do we think? What do you think, Sam? Okay. Let's go to the next clue. Last clue. I was used to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I was used to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Babe, what do you think? You don't know. What do you think, Clint? Do you know? A lion, not a lion. What do we think? Stone, what do you think, Stone? What was used to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? What do you think? Soldiers, that's a good guess. What do you think, Maple? God, that's a good one. What do you think, Charlie? A rope, huh? Can you hold it up for everybody? It was a rope. Very good. Very good. Thanks for coming. Great gift. So for those that studied the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? They went in with their hands bound. But what, they came out, were they still tied up? No, that's right. All right, now we can get to how many people came tonight. So how many did we have last night again? Wow. It was not 113, okay? I'm just going to tell you now. What do you think, Everly? Higher than 111. What do you think, Jamie? 136, a little bit lower than 136. What do you think? 130, a little lower. What do you think, Cash? 123. We are really close. What do you think, Natalie? 122. Whew! We are really close. Really close. What do we think, Strowman? 122. Really close. Really close. All right, remember, what's the rule? Got to be sitting down, hands up, real quiet. What do you think, Sam? How many? Not 113. How many, Everly? 121 is right. We had 121 tonight. That was awesome. Very good. You know what? I'm really proud of y'all. I gave y'all 2 jobs last night. Tell your teachers and helpers thank you. What was the other one? To bring a friend. And we had so many more kids tonight, but we did have a couple of groups over here that went a little bit down. Maybe we need to ask them to do the same thing tomorrow. The adults, we dropped about 15. So we encourage the adults to bring a friend tomorrow, so we can have bigger numbers. All right, let's be real quiet here. Real quiet. Just a reminder to everybody, we have Vacation Bible School again tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then at 11:30, we're going to meet at the Trussville Mall for a lot of fellowship. So we'll have some directions on that. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We've also got some stickers again in the back table. So y'all make sure you get those. Tell your teachers and helpers thank you. And we're about to have an invitation song by Mr. Steve, and then we'll have a closing prayer by Mr. Jeb. But before we do that, tonight we studied about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And it did not matter to them whether God saved them or not from the fiery furnace. They were going to obey God. Do we have that same resolve in our heart? Tonight, are you a person that wants to obey God no matter what? And you want to take that first step and be a child of His? If that's the case, come forward and be baptized as we stand and sing. Or if you need prayers of the congregation, we're all a family here, and we all want to help each other get to heaven. Please come forward as we all stand and sing. Stand firm when life changes, stand firm through the ups and downs. Stand firm, for we know that God is in control. Stand firm when life changes, stand firm through the ups and downs. Stand firm, for we know that God is in control. The storms of life will push and pull, but we are standing on the rock that never rolls. Storms of life will push and pull, we will keep standing. God is in control. Stand firm when life changes. Stand firm through the ups and downs. Stand firm, for we know that God is in control. Stand firm when life changes. Stand firm through the ups and downs. Stand firm, for we know that God is in control. Stand firm when life changes. Stand firm through the ups and downs. Stand firm, for we know that God is in control. Stand firm when life changes. Stand firm through the ups and downs. Stand firm, for we know that God is in control.
Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for allowing us to be able to come out tonight and learn more about you. Please be with all the teachers who help teach this and encourage them. Please be with everyone who came tonight and help them to take what they learned to heart. Please be with everyone as they go home. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.